you may have noticed we do at least 2 of these a week now because everything's mental. We have a couple of European stories left then to wrap us up. So we'll start off in Germany with Bayern, who we know that they're obviously the favourites for the kid we mentioned earlier on, Florian Wirtz. But there's a lot that needs to go on there. And you mentioned as well that they may not just be as sort of ready to spend without getting some money back. And so that's going to be an interesting thing too. And we know that there was a couple of lads, high-profile lads, let go recently. We spoke about them. Tommy Muller and is probably the biggest. But there are agents doing deals and trying to get their lad to stay around, super agents, even if you don't mind. And we know that there's a couple of links where they want to get some people in as well. So just talk us through what's happening with Bayern, ins and outs.
Probably for all the stuff that's happened and all the bits around Wirtz that we've talked about before, the most interesting bit I got from one of our best Bundesliga sources, there aren't many, don't get me wrong, but able to stood up that Bayern's plan was never to get Wirtz this summer, as people are suggesting. Bayern wanted to wait another year and then get Wirtz. That was always the plan because of how much they're trying to do or already trying to do this summer. We've talked about the big renewals for the Musialas, the big, Neuer getting the extension, Kimmich getting an increase as well, and all those things. And there's other names they're still trying to renew, as we mentioned, that Daya Upamecano's wanting an increase and a renewal as well, so they've got that to sort. Now, I'll kind of jump on and come back because we mentioned Leroy Sane, didn't we? And his new super agent switching to PD Xavi, and Bayern offered him a wage reduction. And that was kind of on the verge of getting done with his old management, with his old agent. But obviously he signed with old Penny, who's gone, whoa, slow the train. Like, my client's an elite star. Like, let's just get this right before we do it. And I mean, that's even out today. And people will make their own judgments on something from Florian Plettenberg. But if you look at the time that's come out in the last few hours, that currently no intention he's got of accepting that latest offer. And I had obviously, we were talking earlier in the week that our info was not only that, Penny started going like, Premier League clubs, would you be interested, or what would you pay Leroy Sane on a free type of thing? So that there's that in the mix as well. So you throw that in there, and Jonathan Tah. It's quite clear that, Bayern have made him an offer. They want him to come in, almost as like an Eric Dyer style replacement, one in, one out for a centre half. But he's not given them a clear yes yet. And it's just different in Germany, isn't it? Because Max Eberl this morning was facing the press about it and saying, like, we've put a time limit on it. We're not going to give Sane forever, trying to play that brinkmanship game. Mentions Wirtz and says, if he wants to go to Liverpool, Manchester, and meet friends or see things, that's completely up to him. So it doesn't look very smooth, shall we say, at Bayern Munich right now. And being completely honest on this, I don't think that's necessarily a bad thing for us. Because it might just be they've got so much to sort. We already said they've got to be careful about balancing the books. And now all of a sudden they might have to find another 120 million if they do get the go-ahead for Florian Wirtz as well. So all these things are quite interesting, I think, at the moment. And this is going to sound bizarre, but I know we talked about this before. I kind of want Sane to renew, because the worry for me is if Sane doesn't renew and goes, that's a fair chunk off the wage bill for Bayern all of a sudden. And you're thinking, yeah, they've got a bit of money there freed up, haven't they, etc. So that will be one to keep an eye on. But yeah, Bayern Munich, I wouldn't say they're in a pickle, but they've got a lot to do still.
Yeah, and when you factor in the fact that it's a tremendous, as we call it around here, rat's nest of just a viper, just a den of vipers. in there in the background, people ready to hack each other's back off. I still, if I was Vinny Company, I'd be the least secure man in the world. I know we've just seen signs of him celebrating, but they want more there. You know, they want more there. So it's, I, as you say, the more stress that's on them, the better. They are a direct European rival, and I expect us under Slot to have learned a lesson or two. And people lean into Arne needing to learn lessons and being naive in Europe and forget that we absolutely blitzed the Champions League first stage.
Yeah,
the best club in the competition, and then we came up against the crowd who are likely going to win it. So let's not be too harsh on the lad, but I absolutely expect us to be very successful in that competition next season, and anything that's bringing down a rival is a good thing. We have a little bit of sort of I suppose a bit of a throwback, an ex-Red in Bobby, who has had some success in Saudi, and it appears that Bobby's not ready to hang up his boots just yet, Dave.
No, couple of ex-Reds, probably one far more loved than the other, but Bobby is set to leave Al Ali, I think it's pronounced, isn't he? His Saudi club. So doing a bit of digging on this, that there is a few offers from Europe, so be interested to see where Bobby ends up. But the Firmino family are actually looking to go back to Brazil. Is their first preference. So, but again, and nothing wrong with this because we adore Bobby. Can they pay the wages Bobby's looking for to go back there? But that is apparently the first port of call there. And the second one, he never played for us, but he almost had a career after us, didn't he? Suso, he played like 4 games or something, didn't he? We thought he was going to be a world superstar back in our desperate days, but it never happened. That he is leaving Sevilla on a free. And someone who's made an offer to him is a number of Saudi clubs. So maybe in his last real contract, Suso might just secure the bag, so to speak.
Yeah, good luck to him. Get the old generational wealth into you there, Suso. Xavi Simons, who's your favorite player in the world, we know. And listen, realistically, Xavi Simons stories will start floating around because we know the kid wants out of his current situation. It looks like it's all but done that he will leave. And it's a matter of where he goes to. And I don't know why you and I are just both not massively enthused about the guy being part of our setup. It's probably unfair, actually, when I think about it. But he will have offers, Dave. He's a highly rated footballer. What's the latest?
Yeah, he's made his decision. He's definitely leaving Leipzig. His agents, the camp are confirming that to all who will listen. I can't lie or be hypocritical. I've said before, I'm not the biggest fan of the kids. You can't start lying. This is not the player's fault either. But I think Xavi Simons, from the info we've got, is a lot of people's backup plan. Yeah. If you don't get Wirtz, you go for Simmons and things like that, which sounds harsh and it doesn't make him a bad player, but it doesn't get you excited like a Wirtz for me. And listen, there's nothing, if he comes in and he joins Liverpool, of course I want him to turn out and prove me wrong and smash the words back down my throat and be the best player. Of course I do. But City, Liverpool, Bayern Munich are all the big ones linked with Xavi Simons. Now, who is quite clearly their first choice target in that area, or someone who can play like a 10, a false 9? We all know they're in for Wirtz, doesn't it? So it does feel like, it sounds harsh, but Xavi Simons is almost the backup prize a little bit if you can't get your first choice. Just being honest on that.
I love it. He's Aldi Wirtz is what you're saying. Fair play to him. And we'll finish with Barcelona story. The Levermeisters are going to have to do their usual creativity, but they have just had some serious success, confirmed recently as champions, which I presume brings a little bit of a bag with it. And as a result, they're probably going to keep in situ the man who's won them their league. And, that would be very wise, I would have thought, because you watch Barca now and they are a hugely entertaining team to watch. And it looks as if whatever he's doing there, whatever the sort of chemistry is working. So talk to us about Barca, about the manager, and is there any links that you've heard with footballers, including and not restricted to Liverpool footballers?
Yeah. Now they've won the league and they obviously beat Real Madrid to it. They've got those finances confirmed, finishing top. They are going to confirm, because now they can afford it, to renew Hansi Flick till 2027. So he'll get another 2-year extension there as well. So everything's happy there. And I also put that picture on the screen because he was asked what was his favourite bit. And it was one of the 4 Clasico wins they've had this season. And just because Real Madrid are pissing us off a bit this summer, aren't they, with Bren, Hoyson and everything like that. It's just nice to see Real Madrid get it stuck to them a little bit there as well. However, we can usually get Barca info from a specific, person, let's put it that way, and we've given it before and it's proven to be right as well. The only thing that we had this week, which I don't like especially, well, I don't know if I do like, people will have their thoughts on this, but also that person came back to us and said the talk is accelerating again around Luis Diaz now and Barcelona being interested in him and going from there. So we'll have to see, because you never know what happens with their finances. 1 minute there'll be a forgotten electricity bill, won't they? Or, Laporta's bill for and I can't believe I'm saying this, but this is true. And one of the best stories I heard about 3 weeks ago, for all the bills Barca settled in terms of what they had to catch up, one was a dry cleaning bill and one was for adult entertainment. So they settled up a lot with this win, but there you go.
Yeah, there you go. Well, lots of people reckon that watching Barca is like porn anyway, so I guess we'll go with that. Let's wrap it up, Dave, because there's usually at least one thing that you've held in reserve, and if not, I want to give you the last word anyway. We are getting to a stage where it's very exciting. It's lovely to watch the stories of us being linked with in a very real way, and not monitoring, not sort of interested in, not watching briefs, actually talking to lads like Florian Wirtz. That's a great time. And we've had summer after summer of chasing lads who have ultimately not arrived at the club. But that doesn't mean you stop. And it is a slightly new era now, isn't it? And who's to know what will come of it? So I'm finding it all very exciting, I have to say. Maybe I'm just in a very positive mood. I'm going to be there till the end of the season because, honest to God, up the Reds, we are champions. It's fantastic. I haven't enjoyed it half enough. I want to leave you with the last word, my friend. What is your general take? And is there any little extra bit you want to throw in at the end here?
Tijuana Tacos. We said since the start of this summer, Liverpool are after an elite attacker.
Yeah.
And people are like, oh, no, they've not. And look what's borne out in terms of stuff that's come out around Isak, Alvarez. Now, Liverpool are after an elite attacker. That will define Liverpool's summer, won't it? Because we could get Frimpong, Kirkes and others, but without being derogatory, and people can judge this how they want. But if the attackers say Sesko, for instance, I think that'll be a bit underwhelming, won't it, for a lot of people? So Liverpool are all these names we talked about, the alternatives, they're not set on a course because the nerds, the geeks, whatever you want to call them, they're smart enough to know there's only so many elite players and the chances are quite small. So it's like, if we throw a dart at 10 elite players, can we just hit one? That's what we're after a little bit, which is what we're looking at. And I think people need to hold their nerve a little bit on this because everyone's entitled to opinion, but I've got no problem with that. I've got no problem with hearing Liverpool is seriously going after Florian Wirtz. If anyone has, I'd question them a bit and think, why would you be bothered by that? We might not get him. But if we don't get him, let's not say if Wirtz is confirmed to Bayern Munich next week. Let's not go through the old rigmarole of, where's the Caicedo money, John? We're an amateur club. They're trying for these players. Let's see how the summer bears out. If it isn't Wirtz, I'll be a little sad for a second, but if there's another elite attacker comes in, I get over it quite quickly is probably the best way of putting it, Trev. So let's just wait and see what happens. But they're trying. But I get people are also going to say transfers and football is an outcome sport. So they've got to land that elite attacker this summer.
Yeah, look, it's the thing that pushes the unhinged button on most people, and it gets people to a stage where they're not very rational. And I'll include, we're as guilty of being lured into this, but
yeah,
too many years, Dave, of doing stuff like this has left us a little bit. Look, we're optimistically skeptical, I suppose, is the place to be, and I think it's probably the healthiest spot to be in as well. If there's a little bit of hope, I'm all for it. If it doesn't work out, like you said, my friend, so be it.
Do you know what? The final bit I'll say, I'll do a second one like Jerry Springer's final thoughts. Sorry, is that remember last summer, just what we've had this week alone was pretty much the entirety of last summer when we were scratching around going like, remember we were going like the Reds, we were prodding them like that mean, like do something, like with the stick. Like, whereas already we're seeing like Frimpong lined up, Alvarez being spoken to, Isak being the top, Vert, like Wharton. This is more than we got pretty much the entirety of last summer, and the window hasn't even started yet officially. So just keep that in the mind.
So much more than we had. As you said, it was all poking the dead thing with a stick. This is so much better. You're dead right. Before we leave, because I know he'll listen to this, Gibbo, where's my T-shirt? Why don't I have a T-shirt, Gibbo?
Take care of the stars and it'll all work. Gibbo.
Hey, come on here. Right, let's wrap it up here. Thanks to Dave. I've been Trev. This is the Transfer Show, and we will speak to you very soon, no doubt. Take care.